All right, finally I got my block off plates. These are from Driven, so they're pretty easy to install. Basically, it comes with the two block off plates, which look like this, and then it comes with a little cap that goes in the airbox.
These block off plates are going to be used to delete the PAIR system. The PAIR system is used for emissions. What it does is pump fresh air from the airbox into the exhaust to help burn unused fuel. Deleting the PAIR system yields no performance benefits. However, it will make the bike easier to tune later on, and it will save a bit of weight, and the real reason why I'm doing this is it will save a ton of space underneath and make the bike just a little bit easier to work on. I decided to leave this clip in here of me struggling to reattach this mounting plate. As you can see, the space is extremely limited in here. Removing the PAIR system definitely was the right choice. Allen key sockets are a godsend. If you don't have them, then I highly recommend getting some. Trust me, they are worth their weight in gold.
So the plug that the kit came with didn't work, and the other ones I was using didn't work, but I found one of these plugs in my powder coating kit, and I put some O-rings on it, and now it's kind of fitting pretty good. But just for some extra insurance, I'm going to wrap the whole thing in this electrical tape. Okay, so I got the plug in there, as you can see. There's that side and there's this side, and it's in there pretty good. It will not push in any further. I pushed as much as I can, and even when I put a little bit of pressure on the inside, it doesn't push out. It will not go in though. It will maybe fall out, but falling out is better than falling in.
I have a better replacement solution on its way, but I guess this will do for now. Now it's time for me to tape shut the PAIR plug connector.
Okay, so now this plug is all nice and covered up. No moisture or anything can get in. Now I'm just gonna probably end up tucking it back there a little bit so it's out of the way. And now I can start assembling the bike back.
But before we do that, I just gotta take care of this chain. I mean, look at all this rust. This is the worst chain I've ever seen on a modern sport bike. This poor bike was so neglected. I like to use this Maxima chain cleaner. It's given me great results in the past. And of course, using the grunge brush is a must on any chain. And off camera, I did spray the other side, don't worry. Finally, it's time to add the lubricant. I personally like the Maxima chain wax. It takes a bit longer to set, but once it does, there's practically no fling. Also, I know there's some controversy over where I'm applying the chain wax, but it's just how I've always done it. Although after watching this video, I really should reevaluate my methods.
So I got the new radiator. I actually got this one off eBay. It was like $150 brand new. I've used eBay radiators in the past. They're fine.
I've had great luck in the past with eBay radiators, so until one gives me trouble, I guess I'll just keep rolling the dice with them. All I need to do now is transfer over everything from the old radiator to the new one. This is extremely straightforward, just a few bolts holding on the fans and a few clips, and then we'll be ready to install the new radiator. Most of you probably know about my Patreon page that I have for this bike build series. Basically, I'm being supported by a small group of amazing people, and I'd just like to take a moment and just personally thank my gold level patrons. Thank you guys so much again. Amateur Mike, Charles Raymond Young, Gordon Black, Trace Young, Josh Moore, Roos Squid, Stevens, Jurgen, Ahmed, Carl Pullman, and Josh Rains. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you.
Looks like we have the fans mounted up now. I did notice that on the old radiator, there's these little rubber things, so I guess I'll transfer these over.
I didn't actually end up filming me removing that old frame slider all the way back from like the beginning of the build series, but after a lot of effort I was able to remove it, and when I removed it I noticed that the frame support for the engine mount had been broken and needed to be replaced. Luckily I was able to source a replacement part from eBay, which at the time I did not have, but I wanted to remove it anyway just to get a good look at what I was dealing with. Removal was a real pain on this one. There was red Loctite on everything. But with perseverance, I was finally able to remove the mount.
This is the piece I just took out. As you can see, it was destroyed. But yeah, gonna need that. That kind of holds on the engine. And in retrospect, it would have been a lot easier to do the block off plate and the plugs if I had just done that to begin with. I mean, obviously you wouldn't take this off to do plugs in the first place, but because I had to remove it anyway.
Well, now it's that time for us to offer up the radiator to the bike and see how the fitment is. Luckily, replacing a radiator is actually really simple on this bike. Just a few bolts hold it down to mount it, and then you can simply slip over the coolant hoses and then you're all set. So I've had some of you ask whether or not I plan on keeping this bike once I'm finished. And the answer is, I'm not sure. I haven't ridden it yet, but I will say this, once I do ride it, if the first ride goes really well, then I will definitely be hanging on to this bike. Although I might have to clear some space in the garage if I do plan on keeping it, so that'll be kind of interesting to see. Yes, and that's the sound of a lawnmower in the background. I'm so glad I brought the music back for this episode, although I do know some of you really don't like it. I'm going to have to figure out a good compromise somewhere. In retrospect, it was a really dumb idea to install the radiator before the engine mount. The reason why I did this though is because I had to wait for the engine mount to arrive in the mail, but I wanted to continue working on the bike in the meantime while I waited. So I have to either remove the radiator or find another way to install the engine mount. Okay, so I decided that removing the side support brace was a better idea than removing the radiator, which I'm not sure is actually the right decision, but it's the one I went with. And for some reason I felt the need to remove this air duct out of the way as well. Ah, and look at this, she fits good. Now just gotta tighten her up and we can finally proceed. Finally, we can remove this crappy old rusty bolt out of here. I left it in there because nothing was supporting the engine on the other side of the bike, and that just seemed like a bad idea removing it until the other mount was replaced. Oh, and some of the more observant viewers out there may have noticed that I messed this part up by not putting the rubber piece in front of the frame slider. I realized my mistake later on and corrected it, no worries. Now that everything is hooked up, I'm going to top off the bike with some distilled water and then try running it again for about a minute.
There was a hissing sound coming, and this hose right here is popped off. I'll try to pop it back in if I can. Okay, start number 2. Just gonna add a little bit more water into it. I think that's it for now. I don't want to go too crazy with it. It started though, it's dying and there's a check engine light on.
Okay, so this is not the way I wanted to end this episode. I'm not sure what happened, but the bike has a misfire somewhere and now it's not even able to start. Also, I'm not sure why the starter is sounding like that. I'm beginning to worry that the starter or starter clutch could be damaged. Well, I think I'm going to just end the episode here unless you guys want to wait another 3 weeks for another new episode. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and hopefully next episode I can figure out what's going on with this thing and get it running right finally. Thank you again so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.